Hello and welcome back to the Heroes of Blackreach 40K and 15mm game. This is a continuation of the battle. The link will be in the description for the first half of this. So far, what has happened is the Orks have taken a lot of casualties, but they're actually in a pretty good position. This is the beginning of turn 3. Marines will have the initiative, so they get the first order. This is looking at things from their side of the table there, and they have a couple of emergencies. Then they need to decide which one is more important. This squad is in cover in the fountain. They moved forward, but they find themselves surrounded by multiple Ork units of various types, and this squad is actually taking a hit. They're wounded and they're in open ground, and they're also facing quite a few Ork units. So you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to place that first order. I don't place the orders before. I just place them as a pick, and that way you can just kind of not pre-designate orders. It's just a house rule of mine. So one is going to be this guy. He is going to pick up his fallen comrade, the wounded guy. They're going to shoulder him, and as he runs backwards, he is going to throw a melta bomb. Because he's using it on the move, he needs a 6. And he does not get it. That would have been pretty dramatic, but he didn't pull that off. So he is going to fall back into the building, but also move forward to put himself in contact with the Meganob. That kind of locks that Meganob down and keeps him from running free in the future. So here's the Orks' dilemma. They have got so many units surrounding this guy in the fountain. It's almost kind of who do we want to kill the guy. But there's also some Orks in the open, and they need to get them into cover. So here's the plan. This Meganob decides to pull a little trick here. First thing he does is assault on the move, open up with his flamer, and send a burst over at the plasma team real quick. The plasma team is not hurt, but he is suppressed, and it also suppresses the Rhino. Then he's going to march across here with his 3 movement points, but he has a card that gives him +1 movement. So he is going to launch a surprise assault on the Thunderfire cannon. Sergeant Salinas over there is staring on in horror at the fact that his Thunderfire is facing a Meganob that is about to damage it, and he just signed it out of the armory, and he would like to return it in one piece. So let's see what happens. This battle is +4 for the Orks, but they roll 2 dice, +5 for the Marines, but they roll 1 dice because this unit does not have assault capability. And let's see, the Marines rolled a 5, which goes, it's a tie. It's a tie. The Meganob failed to take out the Thunderfire cannon. Not good for him. He has to fall back. He can fall back into the shell hole and get a little bit of cover. And one advantage he has is that he blocks line of sight for the Thunderfire cannon with his body. So if it wants to fire, it has to shoot at him. Not a real good place to be in front of a giant gun that only has one target, and that's you at point-blank range. But that's what happened. He didn't do as well as he wanted to. But that burst of speed, he went lumbering ahead and crashed into the building. Nice move on his part. All right, Marines have to pick out what to do now, and they're going to take and use the Dreadnought. There's a Meganob in that building, and he's a menace. And there's also a Killican. So the Dreadnought has 2 weapons. He's going to fire one arm at the Meganob and then the other one at the Killican. Might have been a better move to concentrate both of them on one, but hey, let's get greedy here. And the Meganob in the building is just annoying. So he's going to shoot at him with the Storm Bolter and rolls a 2, does not hurt him. And then the Killican is an existential threat to this Dreadnought. He done blowed his leg off, so he doesn't like him at all. He's going to open up with his big machine gun, and he rolls a 3, not enough. So the Dreadnought did nothing. He absolutely did nothing. That wasn't too good for him. He's sitting there with a bum leg, can't move, and not too good at shooting at this point. So he's activated. All right, now here comes the Orks. And this is going to be a combined arms assault. We're not going to take any chances with this guy on the fountain. The Orks are just going to pummel him with the battle wagon, using the machine guns to suppress. He has 2 machine guns. They have to fire at different targets. Against the Marine in the fountain, the Marine has a defense of 7. The machine gun on suppression fires with 6. Plus 2 gives it an 8. He is suppressed. The guy in the building back there, he has a slightly better defense because of the terrain obstacle, but bam, he is also suppressed. So this battle wagon with its 2 machine guns is really pinning the Marines down and keeping their heads down. Not hurting anyone, but keeping their heads down. And hey, you know, while you're at it, you might as well fire the big gun too. Let's see. I wonder who they're going to target with that. They just might as well pummel the guy in the fountain, I guess. The big gun has armor piercing, I believe. So once again, the defense is 7. The gun has a 3. Oh, and there you go. He's wounded. So he's suppressed and wounded. His circumstances just got increasingly dire. Yeah, and in fact, Sergeant Salinas is looking at his troops and wondering, oh boy, this is not going too well. He has his Thunderfire cannon is threatened to be overrun, and a lot of his troops are suppressed. Now, the thing is, if he can survive, the suppressions go away at the end of the turn, so he's got to figure out some way of pulling himself out of this mess. Here's an overview, and you can see that the Marines are they're in bad shape. And so Sergeant Salinas standing here, he has to radio for help. Marines don't have any kind of egos or anything. He's not ashamed of calling over and saying, hey, I kind of screwed up over here, buddy. You need to help me out. So here we go. It is Marine activation number 3. Sergeant Salinas springs into action. He is going to come over, and while he's gone, he decides he's going to throw a melt-a-bomb at the killer can. Now he only has -1 on the move, so on a 5 or 6, he will take out the killer can. Might as well. There are only 3 melt-a-bombs, so maybe they shouldn't be wasting them like this, but hey, you got to use them when you got a chance. And he rolls a 1. Wow. Really? You're going to dramatically race across the battlefield, sneak up behind this killer can, and then not pull the pin on the melt-a-bomb? What a doofus. Well, he is closing in. He's going to be able to sweep around the back and attack the battle wagon next turn. Okay, let's see what the Orks are up to next. Looks like the gentleman in the fountain is about to get a little bit of attention. He has been wounded. He's also suppressed, so these Marines are pinned down in the fountain. The sluggers are going to attack. This is going to accomplish 2 things. They'll be able to capture the location and take cover. The shooters in the front are going to support. So the Orks are going to go in with 5. Rolling 2 dice and choosing the highest, and the Marines with their suppression are going to be at 3. So the Orks are actually 2 pips up. Both sides roll 2 dice because they have the assault ability, and they pick the highest of the 2. So let's see this in action. This is a good coordinated assault by the Orks. They suppressed, they got support, oh no, but they didn't roll very well. Yeah, so they lost. It means that they take a wound, and this is an example of what I talked about in the intro about how assaulting can sometimes blow up in your face because you can wound yourself on the enemy's turn, and that leaves the wounded Ork unit in the open, extremely vulnerable to being wiped out. And that stubborn Marine just hasn't given 1 inch of ground. He is still in that fountain. Man, what is it going to take to get rid of that guy? I thought he was toast. So both of the vulnerable Marines at the beginning of the turn are still going. Okay, let's see what the Marines are up to next. Well, Sergeant Salinas looks out there, activates his chainsword, and moves ahead. He's going to pause in his assault for fire on the move with his bolt pistol. And this orc has a defense of 4. He's -1 for firing on the move. And he's going to shoot him and then finish him off with a chainsword if he has to. He doesn't have to. That's 4, and then orc only has a defense of 4, so he is dead. Another orc unit is dead, caught in the open and cut down. Ooh. Wow, this is really... the Marines are showing their superior training and tactics, I guess. So I believe this sergeant is going to not follow up, move back there. In the supply phase, the Rhino can drive over and protect him from the battle wagon. So that worked out pretty good for the that was a definite swing there. There's still a shooter in the fountain, but one lone shooter is not going to do a whole lot. So, all right, the Orks get to go, and let's see what they're up to here. Oh, it looks like the Meganob is going to activate. He's going to fire on the move and take a shot at the Dreadnought. Does not get him because of the fact that he was firing on the move. But as I said, if you have fire on the move models, use it. He is going to assault. He reaches through the window with his pincer claw, grabbing at the door of the Rhino. Oh, and he has definitely struck the Rhino because the Rhino doesn't have much of a chance there being suppressed. And Rhinos are terrible in close combat. They don't get the assault bonus, so they only get to roll 1 dice. So he has succeeded, and we are going to roll for location for the damage against the Rhino. And there it is. So that will be a hull hit. He'll get 2 more suppressions. Wow, he's got 3 suppressions stacked up on him. Ooh, that means he loses 6 points of movements for this turn, so he will not be moving in the supply phase to cover the exposed Marine Sergeant. So, wow. I noticed the Marines are getting a lot of damage, wounds, suppressed, but they're not dying. The Orks are just not finishing off anyone. And that's a problem because the Marines are just really sealing the deal. When they smell blood, they finish it off. Okay. What's going on over here? Looks like he's going to take a shot. Bang! Oh no, the suppressed Marine, even though he was suppressed, found a wounded orc in the open, took a shot, busted him up. It's another orc unit down. And that's going to hurt because the shooters are now broken. Shooters have lost a big shooter and 2 additional units of shooters, so that recruitment tile will flip. The Marines will gain victory points for that. Okay, what's orc number 3 going to do here? Kill a can. He could take a shot at Sergeant Salinas, but no, he's going to pick on the Dreadnought up there. That thing is still a problem, even though he can't walk. Bam, got him. Got him. Let's roll for location. If he scores the same score on the location, the Dreadnought is destroyed because it's already been wounded in that spot. And he has armor piercing, so 5. Ouch. Knocked off his main armament. So he's got a leg hit, can't walk, and main gun knocked off. It was his second favorite arm. Wow, he's really getting picked apart back there. Surprising, the Killer Can is only a light vehicle, so any hit destroys it. And it's still standing and just tearing that Dreadnought apart limb by limb. That's not what I really expected in that standoff. I thought the Killer Can would be brushed aside, but he's doing all right. So there we are, marked with a token for no movement, leg shot off, no main gun. He's starting to feel a little worthless right now. He needs to get the tow truck back to base camp. Okay, here's the overview, and it is a reserve phase. Units that have not been activated can move. His Rhino moves up to support Sergeant Vorlanus. And let's see what else the Marines are going to do here. Okay, this tactical team is going to move back into the building to take control of it and also defend it from any counterattack. Pretty good move. Vorlanus' troops are performing well. And let's see what else the Marines are going to do. Ooh, the plasma gunner. Looks like he is going to not sure where to go. He is going to jump in the Rhino, I think. Yep, he jumps in the Rhino. Looking for some cover. He'll lose his suppression at the end of the turn, so the Rhino is a good place for him to hang out. Okay. Work reserve supply phase. This guy wants to run up and fight, but then realizes he's in bad shape. So maybe he doesn't want to run up and fight. Maybe he wants to just run over there and keep an eye on that Rhino. He's a rocket launcher. The rocket launcher and big shooters haven't fired the entire game, so those two units haven't paid for themselves, that's for sure. Oh, these sluggers look like they want to come over and contest the other building. Yeah, so the Orks are contesting the fountain, the big building, and both rectangular buildings. Oh, the boss bomb moves up. He wants to get a close eye view of what's going on and lead from the front, so to speak. So there you have it. So this is the end of the turn. This is what things look like. You can see we got a standoff here. Tactical team and a slugger. In that rectangular building, over here we got a Meganov and a wounded tactical team fighting for control of that victory location. Back here, Vorlanus and his Rhino are sweeping around the rear. And up here, the fountain situation has stabilized pretty good for the Marines. Okay, so we're on to turn 4. Let's see what we're going to do. The Orks go first. Activation number 1. The mad sprinter with the flamethrower, he lights them up, shooting at the Thunderfire cannon. The Thunderfire cannon has a really good defense in there. It does not damage it, but he was firing on the move. And watch this nifty little trick. He doesn't attack straight on. He moves to the side to attack because the Thunderfire has a limited fire arc. Attacking from outside of the fire arc inflicts an additional suppression marker on the Thunderfire cannon because he has to pivot to engage outside of his fire arc. So, yeah, that's -4 to his die roll, and that is not good. So he's coming out with a 3, 2 for the terrain, so he's got 5, but he's -4 to the die roll, but he's only rolling 1 die. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. He is killed, and that Meganov has tearing, no armor save for the Thunderfire cannon, and it only has 1 hit, so it's destroyed. Took him a while, but he managed to overrun that position and take out that annoying piece of artillery that was blowing holes in the Ork battle line. All right, on to Marine number 1. What are they up to? Okay. Looks like we're looking at Mr. Vorlanus and his Rhino. Number 1 is going to go to Vorlanus, and he's off to the races again, sprinting ahead full speed and tossing the last of the melter bombs on a 5 or 6. He is going to fry this battle wagon. They have got to get rid of this thing. This is also the last melter bomb for the Marines, so let's see what happens here. He needs a 5 or 6 because he's using it on the move. He doesn't make it. He misses again. That leaves him in a very vulnerable spot. He's in the open, he has no cover, and he's out of melter bombs, and the battle wagon probably heard the clunk on the outside of the hull and is going to retaliate. So next Ork order number 2 for the Orks, they are going to fire up the battle wagon, of course. Bam. Bam. There we go. That guy in that defense, though, is pretty tough. He is an 8. Gun brings a 3, so we need to roll 5. Yeah, we need to roll 5. This is going to be the main gun here, and it is armor piercing. Oh, he's going to add 1. He's going to add 1. Ooh, still missed it. Still missed it. Not good. Okay, now you got two machine guns on the battle wagon. So the main gun's fired, you got 2 machine guns. These can fire suppression, and that's what they've been doing effectively. But you know what? They're not suppressing this time. He's going to open fire down there with 3. Vorlanus has a defense of 6. So the gun does 3. The dice do 5. That's 8, beating his 6. Vorlanus takes a wound. The machine gun, however, does not have armor piercing. Vorlanus pulls out an armor save card, and he's going to attempt his armor save, and he misses it. He misses it. He's wounded. Sergeant Vorlanus is wounded. So, yeah, his heroic run with the melt-the-bomb has not worked out too good for him. Okay, last machine gun on the battle wagon. He's going to go for the guy, and he's going to go for the fountain again. And not suppressing. We're done with suppressing. We're going to kill this guy. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. Nope, doesn't kill it. No, he lived through that again. So that fountain guy is still there. He's still hanging out there. Okay, let's see what the Marines are going to do. I had a bit of a screw up on the filming of this, so this is just a couple still shots. There was an Ork where that green circle is. It was the full-strength shooter that was in the fountain. And the Marines in the building, there was a tactical team of Sergeant Salinas. He advances up, fires on the move, suppressing the shooter. The wounded Marine that's been in the fountain this entire time supported the attack. He launched an assault and doubled the score of the shooter because of the suppression and killed him outright. So the shooters have been completely mopped up. Okay, what are the Orks going to do? Number 3 for the Orks, Mr. Killer Can. He's taking on him, but he's going to do it. He's going to fire on the move, so he's going to take a -1 penalty to this shot. Because he's got other plans. He's going to be moving on. And you can shoot during your move, beginning of the move, in the middle of your move, whenever it suits you. He misses horribly. And he's going to come back here and take his buzzsaw arm and cut through the rear hatch of this Rhino, gaining a +2 to his assault roll. So he's assaulting with 4, rolling 2 dice, and getting two extras. So he's a 6 with 2 dice. And the Rhino is a 1 with 1 dice. It's not really that good. Yeah, that's Rhinos aren't too good in close combat at all, especially against some guy with a giant buzzsaw, especially when the guy sneaks up behind you like that and rams a buzzsaw right through the thin rear armor of the ramp. It's not going to be good. And bam, bam, they rolled a 1. The wow, that's 12 for the Ork. You know, you don't even have to roll location on that one, because that's 2 hits. That Rhino is destroyed. The Rhino is destroyed. I believe at the time I didn't realize that, and I rolled for location and put that on there. But actually, when you double the score, it's 2 hits and the vehicle is destroyed. Even a heavy vehicle is destroyed in that instance. So Mr. Killican has really put a hurting on the Marines' vehicles there. So here we go. This Marine is just going to take a shot. Just straight up shot. No suppression. No charge, no assault, no nothing. Just 3 versus 6. Got him. Got him. He wounds him. That's a shooter. He's wounded. Oh, that's pretty nice. Because the shooters are really, really hurting. They have the rocket launcher and this one wounded guy, and that's it. If either one of them falls, that unit is also broken, also scoring points. So yeah, that didn't work out too good. Back here, the boss mob jumps out and assaults Sergeant Salinas. He's coming in with 4 versus Sergeant Salinas' Sergeant Salinas has a 3, so he's +1. And they're both assaulting, so it's 2 dice for each. Oh, he pulls a card out, so the Orc has an extra 1 in addition. So that's not good for Sergeant Salinas. He needs to win this because that claw gives him carrying, and the Orc beats him. Orc beats him outright. And he's dead because he can't even save. So the boss mob moves ahead, and that'll take an order away from the Marines for next turn. Yeah, so the Marines will be down to 4 orders as well. So as of right now, both sides have 4 orders for the upcoming turn. Okay. And that's the last of the Orc orders. The Marines still have 2 to go. One of which has to go towards the Dreadnought, because the Dreadnought has to have an order every turn. He doesn't really have a lot of targets right now. He's going to take a shot at him. It's a tough shot. You're talking a defense of 8. No. He needed a 6. He got close, though. He got close. And this is an interesting situation because he's going to just take a shot across there, because that Slugger unit, he has a defense of 6, firing at it with 2. So it's a slim to none chance here, but the reward will be that the Slugger unit will become broken and another order will be lost to the Orks. So that's it. The decision is made. And here we go. Got him. Bam. Dead. Slugger's dead. The Slugger unit is now broken, flipped over. Another order lost for the Orks. The Orks have really they have lost the majority of their foot infantry, other than the rocket launchers. So here's the reserve moves at the end of turn 4. But the Orc rocket launcher is going to go over and take up another position. But I think that this is pretty much decided battle. If you look at the end of turn 4, where we're going to determine, you can win an early victory at the end of turn 4. You need 60 points. Right now, the Marines have 47, and the Orcs have 7. They destroyed a Rhino and a Thunderfire cannon. But the Marines broke the Green Raiders and the shooters that are attached to them. In addition, they're controlling the fountain. They control the rectangular building on the end. And they're contesting the 2 other buildings, because at the end of supply phase, Sergeant Salinas jumps into the building. So the Orcs control no locations, and there are a few wounded Marines. They could probably do some damage to them, but the problem is there's just not enough Orcs left to occupy the buildings. There's the Mega Knobs, and that's pretty much it. And then the boss mob, and the boss mob is really too valuable to risk. His loss would be an additional 2 orders. So he doesn't. He's too valuable. You don't want to risk him in combat, and he's going to have to, because there's nothing left. So that pretty much sums up the game. I hope you had a chance to see the interplay between supply moves, suppression. I really think that this game does a good job of giving you a lot of tactical options. And let me just kind of give you an overview of why this game appeals to me. There's been a lot of games lately, and they're based on here's the rules and here's how you break them. And if you come up with enough of a complicated way of breaking the rules, you create a combination that simply sweeps to victory. This game, I do house rule a little bit. The tokens, the order tokens, are not placed on the units, and I only use the alternative action for each card. But for the most part, this game is decided on tactical moves and dice rolls, and I like that a lot because the dice rolls are what's telling me the story. And it does create a very cinematic and heroic story, and you have a chance to do things, whereas in many systems the combinations you construct can really predetermine the outcome of the game before you even play the game, which makes playing the game kind of pointless. So for example, the situation that blew up around the fountain, it was a lot of suppressing fire, zones of control, firing on the move, assaults, counter assaults, and that's just something that a lot of times I didn't see when I was playing 40K. I was never a real huge 40K player, but I played it a few times and built, I think I had Alpha Legion, 4 Imperial Guard regiments, and Ultramarines. And the games just weren't very tactical. And if you don't want to paint miniatures, the game does come with a lot of cardboard tiles, so you can, this is just a tiny fraction of the tiles. Actually storing and organizing the tiles takes a little bit of a science to that. I have mine broken down by usage and put them in Ziploc bags. But yeah, you get the entire codex if you buy the reinforcement packs of the Marines and the Orks. And I like that feature. And everything's kind of consistent. There is not like something that jumps out. But if you like miniatures, there are 3D printing, which I'm using for the Killican, the Ultramarines. There's also Slat miniatures made the Bullies and Vanguard miniatures made the Meganobs. I also bought the Vanguard miniatures skinners to use for a different tribe of Orks because they have a different aesthetic. So they would make a nice alternate tribe. So that way you can have the 3D portion of it. And it's different than a typical miniatures game because you're just counting squares. And it really speeds things up a lot and cuts down a lot of ambiguity. So overall, I've enjoyed the game. I've invested heavily in it. I think I've purchased every product available. And so I have everything from Ultramarines to Werewolves to mix together if you want to. So, and I'm noticing in my particular set, Sergeant Salinas has become the Arnold Rimmer of the Ultramarines. At this point in the battle here, when Sergeant Salinas called for help, remember Sergeant Salinas failed to take out the Killican, failed to take out the battle wagon, failed his armor save, then got attacked in close combat by the boss, which if he could have taken him out would have been an incredible boost for the Space Marines, but instead he failed in close combat and had his head cut off by a giant pair of scissors. He consistently rolls snake eyes in close combat. So yeah, he's creating his own little story. Alright, thanks for watching.